and tell me a little bit about maybe, because contractors in general have, it can go one way or another. And obviously winning this award means, I think the key word here is you consistently producing this great quality service. What are some of your secrets? What do you do that different maybe than other builders or contractors that allow you to produce such a consistent, excellent service?
I think we really focus on trying to take care of our clients, whether that be during the course of before the job starts, during the course of the job, and then even the service after. Because again, like I said, some of it's a year after survey, so we're making sure that we're taking care of the problems. But I think a lot of it plays into that we're taking care of the problems on the front end before they ever get started. So there are very few problems that pop up during the course of construction. So a lot of pre-planning that goes in. I'm very detailed in our estimating process that we try to do. I want to make sure that we have the details taken care of beforehand so that there aren't as many surprises. It's remodeling that we do, so there are always surprises, but it's how we handle those surprises, either before or during the course of the work.
So, I think you probably hear this all the time, right? And you talked about this bidding process you have, which is much more detailed. I would imagine you hear all the time. So I'm thinking about, doing this. How much will it cost?
Absolutely.
And talk about setting yourself up for disaster, right?
Right. It's a hard question to answer because you're very much on the front end of the project, and you don't necessarily have the idea of what the homeowner's really looking for. Probably the best answer to that question is really how long's a piece of string, right? It could be anywhere from
short to long.
Yeah,
right.
It's hard, and homeowners will go back and kind of pull on experiences of maybe some friends or a home show that they watched on TV. Oh, they remodeled their kitchen for $10,000 and they did this gorgeous kitchen. Well, it's hard to replicate.
Right. It's amazing how far $10,000 goes on TV.
Right.
When all the labor is free. Oh yeah, here we can buy this stuff for $10,000, and by the way, here's the labor.
Exactly.
Is that how a lot of that works?
It is. We were doing working in conjunction on a TV program that we were trying to produce a few years ago, and we were looking at projects and trying to get subsidies from companies to help basically place their product in the project itself. And so we would get the product for free. They would get the airplay on it, but it's a hard thing to do. It didn't work out for us to be able to do that.
You got to have a lot of eyeballs on that TV show to make it worth it.
Absolutely. And, one of the things that we were running up against is the project wasn't quite working out as we were planning on doing. And a lot of it was based on, getting free product. And the companies wanted to make sure that they had the exposure. Otherwise, the homeowner's on the hook for that free product. So it's different. It's a different ballgame doing it for TV.
I would imagine. So when you start looking at, when people want to start a remodel then, that's that first piece you said, really be cautious of what your contractor is going to be bidding, which is really how you have gotten this award for exemplary customer service is, as you said, being really upfront and honest and thorough with the bidding. What else do you think has been a key example of why you won that award?
That's a really good question, Ben. Going to make me think.
Oh, yeah.
I think that, all of our employees really care about the company, and to see that it's consistent from myself going out and meeting with the clients on the front end, and then each one of our employees following through on what our company is based around, right? We all have the same vision of where we want to go as a company, but then also incorporating that with our trade partners as well. I was talking to actually one of them last night, and he was saying how far ahead he thought that we were as a company. It was nice to hear. It's always nice to hear that from an outside source and somebody that you work with.
Sure, for sure. Do you tend to think that, your employees, of course, is a big piece. That seems to be in a lot of different businesses. What about during the process? Now you're in people's homes, right? I mean, you move in with them for a little while.
Right.
I mean, to me, it'd be tough. I imagine that's one of the toughest jobs anybody has, is to get exemplary service while moving in with somebody you don't really know.
Yeah, especially when you're, so focused. If you're doing like a kitchen remodel, I mean, that's the hub of the house, and you're in it with them. So really,
what's for dinner?
That's very true. I can't tell you how many stories we have of my field employees being fed by our homeowners, whether it's lunch or even sticking around for dinner.
Sure,
because they're making some special pizza.
Well, it's always easy. Like, it's the first meal is for cooking for one's a pain, two's better. If you cook for 3 or 4, the work isn't that much more. It's always nice.
Right.
So, what is it about your employees as they're moving into these houses? I mean, is there anything specific? Is it just smiling?
Probably
a lot of smiling, to be honest.
Well, right. You don't want a grumpy employee showing up in the morning, or a stinky employee.
Showering, the key to success.
Right. I've had a lot of trials and tribulations with different employees and their habits, their after work habits, and trying to find really good, solid employees that exemplify what we're trying to do. So I think we've been able to weed through the employees that are
the guys who show up, sweating out booze from the night before.
Yeah,
I imagine that's where you're going with that.
Yeah. That's where I was headed.
Okay,
without really saying it.
Got it. Well, we don't have to be that PC here. Paul Kocharhook joins us from Pathway Design and Construction. Paul, now you guys are obviously some of the best in the world, in the nation, at customer service when it comes to construction. But you said to me once that not every client and contractor are really a good fit. From your experience and knowing how to have great customer service when it comes to being a builder, when would that not be a good fit? Because it seems like, people be knocking down your door when you win an award like this.
I would hope so. So start knocking.
Start knocking. Yeah, there you go.
Really trying to find out who the client is early in the project to really see if they are going to be a good fit. Some homeowners are really budget driven, and to do a budget driven project, in my experience, has meant sometimes having to go outside our comfort zone as far as maybe different trade partners that we work with. We're pretty stringent in what we're asking of our trade partners to do on jobs, as far as their methods of installation, some of the products that they're having to use. They're not maybe necessarily having to go to making an easy stop at Home Depot or Lowe's or something like that on their way. They're being asked to go out of the way to go to a supplier that might not be on their way to the job to pick up a certain product to install in the home. Where was I going with that?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Well, often, why would somebody not work with a certain contractor?
Oh, yeah. As far as...
Is it just quality? Is it
time? Quality's really hard to quantify, because what does quality mean to me, and what does quality mean to you?
What's it mean?
It probably means
Buck's one.
I know. Buck's flashing a sign at me. Quality. So
Buck, who's over there writing words and no mic.
What does quality mean to Buck?
Well, you had said that it may compromise the cost, and quality is a big part of cost. You get certain things because you pay for certain things, and I do, like, if you have a subcontractor who does a certain quality of work, you're asking them to do it under a budget. They may not be able to give you the quality that they give you under that budget.
That's absolutely right. You're right. Yeah. And sometimes we're having to maybe look at a less expensive product. So maybe, for instance, a HVAC unit, we're going down. So the parts might not be up to snuff as maybe something a higher end product. But sometimes the higher end products have their own issues as well.
It sounds like a lot of times. I always say that you can have it cheap. You can have it good, or you can have it fast, but you only get to pick two.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And in most people want all three, but that's impossible. So you got to either be willing to pay for the good work to be done fast, which I think people are typically happier with. I don't think people look back after spending good, money on something that's of high quality and go, man, I wish I would have bought something crappier. I just don't think that's something that people do. But I know tons of people, including myself, who go out and buy crappy stuff. Yeah, God, why did I buy this piece of crap? It's broken.
Mm-hmm. I think that way with my son when he goes up to the store and he buys some piece of plastic toy and takes it outside and throws it and it breaks everywhere. It's like, well, that was 50 cents well spent, right?
Right. Yeah, wait till next week for your allowance.
Yeah.
You got to save 3 weeks of allowance so you can get to the metal toys, my
That's
friend.
right.